It's divisive, it's political, it's shameful. It's not what our city needs right now.
Mayor Greg Fisher is fighting back one day after the Louisville Metro Council's Republican caucus called for his resignation.
People see what this is a naked political play, and this is a frustrating time for our city and our country. I get that. So we need to be working together to move through that.
The caucus's 7 members filed a resolution Monday asking for a vote of no confidence in Fisher. They listed several reasons, including the city's increase in violent crime, Fisher's response to the ongoing protests, and his so-called failed handling of the TARC and Explorer scandals.
These are unfortunate situations, obviously, and they're going to happen in a city that our size. So the important issue is then how do you move forward on them?
On Tuesday, Fisher pushed back and called on the Metro Council to work with him to address the challenges presented by the coronavirus pandemic, the economic recession, and ongoing protests.
We've got to move forward together. That's the only way to move it. It's not to be fighting each other, not to be dividing each other. It's to move together.
Fisher has faced criticism for a lack of transparency. Most recently, Metro Council members on both sides of the aisle accused him of trying to hide the truth by not allowing interim police chief Rob Schroeder and chief of public safety Amy Hess to testify about the city's response to the protests. A judge recently blocked the council's subpoenas. Fisher says he wants the truth to come out, but says the city must follow the law.
Some of the council members that you saw yesterday were frustrated by that. They should follow the judge's order and be patient, not throw a tantrum and say they're not getting what they want when they want it. Let's follow the process here so the right facts get out.
Fisher still believes he can work with the council to move the city forward. And as to whether he'll resign,
absolutely not. The people of Louisville expect me to do my job. There's not going to be any one person that comes in here and magically fixes everything. But if we work together, we can get that done, and I'm determined to do that.
Denny Camper, WLKY News.
Congressman John Yarmuth is defending Mayor Fisher, calling the no confidence resolution a badly partisan move. In a statement, Yarmuth said, Republican council members should abandon their attempt to undermine Mayor Fisher, and I hope all Democratic council members will stand together against this ill-advised Republican effort as we work as a community to meet the tests of our time.
Louisville recorded its 100th homicide overnight. Now LMPD is asking for the public's help in tackling the increase in violence. Metro Police also reports the city's had 360 non-deadly shootings this year, which is up 119% from last year. The homicide unit calls the increase unprecedented and something that it will take a community-wide response. So far, only 31 of the 100 homicide cases have been closed. LMPD says that that's making it difficult to trace the root cause behind these crimes.
That is going to be dependent on cooperation from the victims, cooperation from the community, receiving information that we can put the case and close it. Then we can answer those questions. However, far too many of these cases, especially our non-fatal shootings, we have victims who don't want to cooperate.
Anyone with information on any of these homicide cases is urged to call the anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD.
Today, the family of a Prospect man killed during what police believe was a robbery is addressing the public for the first time. David Boggs was shot and killed last week on 40th Street near West Broadway. LMPD has not released many details about the incident besides saying he was trying to buy or sell a phone with his son. Boggs' family says they are grieving the loss and say they receive almost daily updates about the investigation. They also spoke about other families who have lost loved ones during recent violence, saying it is, quote, a community pain shared by all of us for each victim across our entire city.
6 people have now been indicted in the murder and robbery of a Doss High School student back in May. Gregory James was shot and killed in the Chickasaw neighborhood on May 2nd. In July, police arrested Romeo Minfield Jr. and 2 juveniles in connection to James's death. This month, a grand jury indicted a total of 6 people on complicity to murder and robbery charges. That includes Leander Barnett, Andrew Dew, James Treon Houston, as well as Romeo and Garrett Minifield. James Clifton also faces murder charges. A warrant was issued last week for his arrest. A man is in custody following a deadly shooting in New Albany. Jacob Rogers has been arrested and faces a murder charge now. Police say that they were called to a house on 7th Street near Cherry Street around 10 o'clock Monday night. That's where officers found Dale Bays shot and killed. Investigators say some sort of disturbance led up to the shooting. but have released no other details.
TARC is suing its former executive director, claiming he sexually harassed employees and misused company money. Ferdinand Risco resigned in February after 6 women accused him of sexual harassment. Those women included current and former TARC employees, as well as an independent contractor. In the complaint filed today, TARC accuses Risco of inappropriate communications and sexual advances against at least 2 employees. The lawsuit also claims Risco paid $228,000 for a no-bid contract to a person with whom he was in a relationship, who then performed little to no services to the company. TARC's co-executive directors released a statement saying they have made significant changes to the organization, as well as how employees can report abuse.
Republican state lawmakers today pushed back on Governor Andy Beshear's recommendation to start the school year online. They enlisted several speakers at today's interim education hearing to make the argument for more local control over decision-making. That included the Kentucky School Boards Association of Kentucky Association of School Superintendents. One senator also encouraged Beshear to offer schools liability protection from COVID-related lawsuits.
I think it's important to note that the governor, under 39A, I believe, could solve this problem, this liability problem. He could write an executive order.
Democrats on the committee defended Beshear's recommendation, warning children can carry COVID-19 and spread it to their parents and relatives.
Right now, the Jefferson County School Board is getting an update on school reopening efforts this fall. The district has received more than $30 million in federal funding because of the pandemic. They've already spent $18 million so far. The majority went toward buying 30,000 Chromebooks, as well as hotspots and software to run the NTI program. Officials also expect to learn more about how the guidelines for fall sports after a state athletics association meeting on Thursday. JCPS students will have online classes starting a week from today.
The Kentucky Board of Elections has delayed its vote on Kentucky's emergency plan for the November election. Secretary of State Michael Adams and Governor Beshear announced they reached a deal on the plan last week. It gives voters the option to vote early or to vote absentee by mail. The plan also ensures that there will be more polling locations on Election Day. The board was expected to vote on the measures at its meeting today. Adams requested another 48 hours to review the regulations.
I want to make sure that the wording of the regulations consistent with what the governor and I went back and forth on over a long period of time. So that's all I'm trying to do. I don't want to block this in any way. I want us to get this done as quickly as possible. I just want us to have time to make sure that we got this right, because it's a very long, complicated document.
The board plans to launch an online portal used to request absentee ballots on Fridays, but that could be delayed until Monday. A special meeting has been scheduled for Thursday afternoon.
Today, Kentucky reports 627 new COVID-19 cases. There are more than 40,000 total cases. 830 people have now died in the Commonwealth after 12 more deaths were reported. Kentucky State Health Commissioner says they will be publicly announcing infections at schools once kids start returning to class. He says schools are already required to report the cases to the state, but they want everyone to have that information.
The public needs to be able to know what risk they are or are not taking if their child goes into the classroom. And same thing for the staff, the teachers and the rest of the staff that support the building. And this is an attempt to be transparent.
Dr. Stack says schools will be given a chance to tell families first before the state reports cases each evening.
Louisville's mayor has extended the city's state of emergency to the end of September. The health department reports 143 new COVID-19 cases for a total of more than 10,000. 269 people have died in Louisville. More than 5,700 people have recovered. Louisville's public health director, Dr. Sarah Moyer, says officials are having problems contact tracing and urges people to cooperate.
So the good news in all this is that our hospitals still have plenty of capacity, and the death rates stayed fairly stable. But we know this has the potential of changing in the next few weeks because our case count is an early predictor of those other rises in hospitalizations and death rates.
Dr. Moyer says the biggest mistakes that they see are social gatherings indoors. They recommend people stay outside and separated if they have people over.
Another downtown restaurant struggling to stay afloat now plans to close by the end of the week. Downtowner Deli on West Market says they've seen about 80% drop in business since March. Next door, Dish on Market already decided to close. Yelp found nearly 300 of Louisville's restaurants and businesses have shut down since the beginning of the pandemic.
It's sad. because it never used to be like this. Everybody knows that. You know, everybody was vibrant, loved to come downtown, you know, and then to see it like this and still like this, it breaks my heart.
Mayor Fisher said today he understands the frustrations of downtown business owners, but he believes the downtown district will rebound.
Indiana's health department says 850 more people have tested positive for coronavirus. There are now nearly 82,000 cases in the state. 28 more people have died for a total just shy of 3,000. The state's positivity rate is still at nearly 9%.
Today, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb announced steps to make the state more equitable and inclusive. The initiative looks at a wide range of issues around the state. He says he wants to work with the state legislature and local prosecutors to collaborate on sentencing reform, jail overcrowding, and other issues within the criminal justice system. He also will mandate all state troopers that interact with the public have body cameras and is ordering a review of ISP's training.
We'll look at areas like use of force, de-escalation training, and implicit bias training. And I'm committed to working with our legislature to add more civilian representation to the ILEA board itself.
Holcomb says the state will have a central hub to publicly show how the various state programs are working, and he will create a new cabinet-level position to oversee the changes.
Community-wide partnerships are making it easier for Louisville students to go to college. Evolve 502 announced a program for JCPS graduates starting next year. It will let them get their associate or technical degree tuition-free. The class of 2021 will be able to attend any Kentucky community college or Simmons College as part of the program.
Like other programs across the country, we are a last dollar scholarship program, which means we cover the gap between tuition and fees and financial aid, ensuring no Evolve 502 scholar pays tuition.
For students with the greatest need and who keep their grades up during those 2 years, they will be able to transfer to U of L without paying tuition.
Bringing health care directly to those who need it most. Next on WLKY, see how a new mobile prevention system is hitting the streets to offer life-saving services.
Okay, weather-wise, some good news. The flash flood warning that was in effect for Crawford, Harrison, Washington, southeastern Orange counties in Indiana, that has been canceled. Looking at the latest analyzer, the heavier storms are now south of Louisville. Heaviest storm right around Litchfield. We'll track that for you and take a look at some cooler, less humid air that's on the way. Your 7-day forecast coming up.
right now. This is WLKY News at 6.
Meeting patients where they are, that's the goal for Norton Healthcare's newest mobile prevention center.
And it hits the streets around Louisville next week, offering life-saving services. WLKY's Jennifer Bayless gives us a tour of the new mobile unit and a look at why one doctor says this type of care is needed now more than ever.
They don't have to travel, they don't have to park, they can be right in their neighborhood where they have the safety and the security of being in their own community.
It's a clinic on wheels. Welcome to the Norton Healthcare Mobile Prevention Center. It will roll out into the greater Louisville community August 24th, providing services like mammograms, pap smears, and HPV testing.
We have multilingual providers on board. We have providers from the neighborhoods. So people can have confidence in knowing that they're coming to a trusted facility that's served and cared for by people who live and work in the neighborhood.
Dr. Kelly McCann says meeting patients where they are is more important than ever, especially during a pandemic when people are facing new obstacles every day.
Particularly when you're dealing with things like diabetes, hypertension, and breast cancer, having the ability to screen patients in their community is very important.
This is Norton Healthcare's second mobile unit. Officials say nearly 1,900 patients visited the first mobile prevention center in 2019, and they hope adding to the fleet will expand their reach to some of Greater Louisville's most underserved areas.
A large part of the community we serve are disadvantaged, and they don't have access to the hospital systems, to the clinics, and other places where screenings take place.
Norton officials say the project was a true community effort with 2 years of fundraising and dozens of donors.
Through the Pink and White game, the Bike to Beat Cancer, our friends at Churchill Downs, Thornton, just untold numbers of companies and individuals who stepped up and said, yes, I want to be part of this, and help provide the support to fund $1.3 million towards this project.